let's move on to maybe more of a realistic transfer. Harry Kane. He isn't actually linked to Saudi Arabia. He's linked to actually like big real football clubs like Bayern Munich, Man United as well. I don't get this one. I don't think he's kicking up enough of a fuss to move on, in my opinion.
Well, I don't think he particularly... I think Harry Kane wants to go if it were very easy and smooth. What I don't think he wants to do is rock the boat. I think he's a very settled, happy man. And therefore, if it transpires that he ends up playing at Tottenham next year, I think that he will make his peace with that. Whereas, footballers who have, in the past, strived to be the very best that they can be. Like even Cesc Fabregas, who at one point was lauded by Arsenal fans. Fabregas went on strike because Arsenal weren't allowing him to fulfil his dream and the furtherance of himself and his career and go to Barcelona. Do you remember that? Do you remember all that? I think it was Puyol when they were on international duty, had the Barcelona top on him. When he was still an Arsenal player. Whatever, yeah, had him wearing it, like put it on. Yeah. No, it's Pepe Reina. It's Pepe Reina had it on him. Yeah. So I think that Harry Kane should be angling more. He should be saying to a super agent, he should be on the phone right now to Kia Joorabchian and say, Kia, I need to get out of this deal. I need to go and sign for me, Buvey, it's just Manchester United. It's so obvious. I can't understand how it's not Manchester United.
There's something weird about United this summer. I think if they had a settled ownership, the Qataris had come in. Maybe they don't even come in. Maybe that's a hypothetical at the moment. That could not happen, that deal. I think it makes a lot of sense as a marquee signing. I just don't see them. I think they see Mason Mount, that deal, get over the line, cheat, might sell Fred. It's kind of like for like. Kane is an ambitious transfer, and that's why Man United aren't linked with him at the moment. That's down to their ownership. So, for me, the issue is it's Bayern Munich.
I don't think he can go to Bayern.
I know they're massive. You don't think he can? No, I don't think.
They are a massive club, of course. They're a massive club, but is the Bundesliga what Kane needs?
I don't think it is.
What? He goes there to be part of Bayern's 12th league title in a row. It's not the move, is it? It's not the statement move. So I don't think that will happen. But from a Tottenham perspective, they need this sorted out. Like Ange Postecoglou must just be desperately trying to get this sorted out, because I sometimes think with all situations in life, in fact, that the not knowing is often worse than something not going your way. So if Harry Kane isn't going to be at Tottenham, that would be a shame, but they can start making steps towards progressing without him.
Yeah.
They can take the money that they're going to bring in from him, we'll call it 100 million quid, and suddenly maybe even Tottenham top it up a bit. So if they keep him, they'll spend a bit of money. Maybe they'll spend a bit even if they sell him. So they sell him for 100. They give Postecoglou 130 million to spend in the summer. So Postecoglou can now start working towards life post Kane. If he's going to stay, if he signs a new deal, wonderful. We've got the best striker in the league, one of the best strikers in the league, secure at the club, hungry, ready to go next season. Lovely. Let's get to work. Because the Tottenham job with Harry Kane is very different to the Tottenham job without Harry Kane. The problem is these in between. The problem is not knowing.
I think it's Harry Kane's fault. I think we talk about player power. We've just talked about Kylian Mbappe. I think if he wanted to go to Munich, we could all just laud him and say, fair play, he wants to win silverware, whatever that looks like. Even the Champions League's on the table. If he wants to stay at Spurs, let him stay. I just think he's come out in such a weird way. Obviously, a couple of seasons ago at City, the whole Gary Neville interview, I thought that came across really poorly. Obviously, I wanted him to join City, so I was loving it. But I thought if he was a City player doing that, trying to move to Spurs, the other way around, I wouldn't have liked that at all as a football fan. So, and then I see him in this. I have to bring it up because it's ridiculous. But he's on Hot Ones.
Yeah, I saw his. Nothing happened. Though.
Mate?
It was very in keeping with Harry Kane. Yeah, like nothing actually happened.
It's the most ambitious thing he's ever done, eating spicy chicken wings. No, it is. I'm trying to speak at the same time with all due respect. It's very ambitious of him to go to New York and do something like that. But that for me screams of a player who's settled, someone that is not in the middle of a transfer saga. He's one of the biggest players in world football, and he hasn't either committed or made a big move.
I think Tottenham are correct here. I often think that Daniel Levy makes mistakes. I often don't really like the way or admire the way that he runs that club. But on this very specific front, I think he's correct. He has said to Harry Kane, or he has been told to say to Harry Kane by Joe Lewis, you sign or you leave. And I think that's fair enough, because Tottenham cannot have this uncertainty going into a new season. It's really problematic for them. It's very destabilising as well. And for Postecoglou, in pre-season. So I saw Tottenham the other day. They lost to West Ham in a pre-season game, maybe down under. And how can you prepare? Like, I don't understand how Postecoglou can pick a team. Because the team that he picks, you know if Harry Kane's available, right? The position that Richarlison plays is slightly different. Maybe the formation is slightly different because of the way Harry Kane likes to play football. So everything that Postecoglou is doing now, if Kane leaves, it's kind of void.
It's a fresh start. Yeah.
So I think that they really do need a situation where they say, right, what's the date? They say, right, if you are still a Tottenham player by, it's arbitrary, right, 3rd of August, then you are a Tottenham player until the end of the season, and you need to sign a new deal. Or if you have not signed a new deal by the 3rd of August, we are going to force you to leave.
Yeah, or stay on the bench.
Exactly. Well, that's how it's going to go, because Daniel Levy will say, you won't play for Tottenham, obviously, because if you don't want to be here and you won't sign a new deal, it's unjust. It's a bad message. And imagine if you were to get injured in that situation. So he doesn't play. It would just be a disaster because they wouldn't. I just don't understand how they can proceed, to be totally honest with you. I'm totally baffled by this.
Me too.
They need to say that if you haven't signed a deal by the 3rd of August, we're going to sell you. But our valuation of you must be met. And our valuation of you, with a year left, is £100 million.
Do you know what? This is the reality. The more you talk about it, the more it makes sense to me. They're both dancing around it. They're both being as soft as anything. No one's taking leadership. No one's taking the future of Tottenham into their own mindset. No one's taking a lead. It's embarrassing. Harry Kane is captain of England, one of the most prolific players to ever come out of the country. He should be making big statements publicly, and people talk about me bring up the chicken video and all that. It's a bit of a joke, but also it's like Tottenham are a massive football club. They've got a massive stadium. They've got massive leverage around the world. They are a huge brand, and so is Harry Kane. Someone somewhere's got what you just said in a studio talking on a football YouTube channel. How are you showing more leadership than
I know.
It's got to be transparent.
It does seem to be quite obvious though, because also Kane could end up in a terrible situation here. Postecoglou goes, "I'm not playing you if you're not signing." Levy goes, "Okay, you're not playing. You're obviously now for sale, but I value you at. You've got 1 year left on your deal. If you had 3 years left on your deal, I value you at 150. This is Levy's approach.
Yeah.
I value you at 150. You have 1 year left, which means you are a £100 million footballer. Harry Kane is then stuck because he is then at the will of a football club coming along and offering £100 million, which may happen. Don't get me wrong, he's a sensational footballer. But equally, it may not. It didn't happen before. No, Remember when City were prepared to pay 70, I think?
Yeah, yeah.
So it may not. Then what? Then Harry Kane, in his peak, as a year out.
Yeah.
Shambolic. It's a total shambles.
And the only thing I'll say is Spurs' mistakes have kind of compounded to the point where they've got Postecoglou in there. Okay, I'm not trying to be biased. He might do well. I don't think he will. I don't think he's got the experience or the credentials to manage a club as big as Spurs, in my opinion. He hasn't got the weight to leave someone like Harry Kane out. So it's all well and good saying we'll put him on the bench. He had to. If the first game of the season for Spurs starts tomorrow, we still don't know Harry Kane's future. Even something in January could happen. He still has to play him,
right?
Because he could get sacked. He'll never get a job as big as
he needs
Guardiola could leave Aguero out. Or someone else out.
You can't risk it.
Could leave, but Wenger could. But
he hasn't got the players either. It's not like if for some reason, when Chelsea were good, you wanted to leave Didier Drogba out, you had Nicolas Anelka in the team.
Yeah,
they haven't got that. They haven't got anyone else. Right, cards on the table. Right, showdown. Early September, Tottenham play. Is Harry Kane in the starting lineup?
Yeah,
He's going to stay at Tottenham.
He is. Yeah,
agreed.